Sally. That was a really interesting video. I'm so glad we were able to show that. But
thank you.
I also wanted to ask you about your technique and process as an artist. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I paint with acrylic paints, and I like the really large canvases. I keep buying larger and larger brushes so that my shapes will get bigger and bigger, because when I started, I usually was painting or drawing with charcoals or pastels on very small pieces of paper, especially as a student and having a space or money to invest in it. And I have really tiny little things that I can do, but I'm trying to expand and really make them bigger. So that's what my process is now. Is to
larger than this?
I have goals to paint larger than this,
but not as small as this.
Well, I do like the small. Those pieces I use leftover paint when I'm painting the large paintings. I don't like to waste any paint.
So beautiful.
So whatever paint I have of that color, I work one color at a time. So I paint on smaller canvases like this. So those are particularly tiny. I have some other ones that are bigger than that.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe talk about Carl Jung, because I know you studied him as well, and because we talked about the Kandinsky and also, but here are the unconscious imagery that seems to be emerging when people do take a look deeper into the paintings.
Well, Carl Jung was a psychologist. He was a student of Sigmund Freud's and was very interested in dream imagery. And he came up with the idea of collective unconscious, that people have similar images in their psyches that come up in dreams, come up in stream of consciousness writing, that are common throughout different cultures in different parts of the world, different times in history. And when I read about his dream symbols and the interpretation of that there's a connection between people, it seemed very similar to how people react to dynamic symbolism. So I have a lot of nature images in my painting. So what I did was I created another video. This one is about a painting called Autumn Oak, which is about an actual oak tree that lives right near my house. I live up in the mountains of Santa Cruz, and so I created this video. It's dreamlike. I don't talk very much, and I put it to music called D-Tone that my friend Curtis Turner composed. So we can take a look at that video now.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, so it's a very dreamlike quality in this video.
My favorite, dreams.
Yeah.
My art is deeply influenced by nature. Dynamic symbolism is filled with animal and natural archetypes, unconsciously accessed in my painting process. Autumn Oak is about an ancient tan oak that lives in the mountains near my home.
another very interesting video. I really appreciate you having shown us
thank
that.
you.
But let's talk a little bit just about how you produced that video.
Well, I've always wanted to make my pictures move, and I often think that some of the pictures are kind of like a film that's been condensed into one frame. So I wanted to expand that. So I used, for the animation for the little leaves, I used After Effects, and I cut out masks with Photoshop, and I made them all move. And I used the Luma key in Final Cut Pro to get some of the effects that I did, and the differences between dark and light. I was really interested in that. So that's mostly what I did for that video.
Absolutely, made good use of those Photoshop filters and Final Cut Pro. Great. So now we're going to see some images, some still images of your work, and hopefully we get some commentary on that as well. That would be great.
Yeah, we're going to start off with some of my earlier work.
Okay.
This is a piece that I did in the 1990s. It's called Dancing with Swift Shields, and this one has a history. I did it right after two of my very dear friends and teachers, actually, died of cancer. And so it was dedicated to them, and in it, I always saw in the center of it a crab shell, and I see sharp edges coming off and crab claws coming out of the middle. And I sort of see little figures with shields, and it was sort of a sad piece to me. But I was at a show, and I was talking to a lot of people, and an East Indian woman was looking at this piece, and she looked at it for a really long time. And she said, I finally went up to her, I said, well, how do you like the piece? And she said, I really like the elephant. And I went, where is the elephant? And she showed me right in the center. Right in the center, you can see an elephant. There's ears, there's a trunk, and tusks coming out, and there's an eye. And I thought it was really interesting that a woman from India, where they revere the Ganesh, which is the remover of obstacles, would see the elephant. And then, of course, I saw it. So.
How beautiful. So it turned the picture meaning completely around.
Completely turned it around.
Yes.
So, and then the next image is, this is called Dark Horse 2. And in it, I see a lot of different animals, but mostly I see a horse or a unicorn. And this particular piece is part of my website, where people can go to my website and type in what they see in different paintings. The pictures are divided into sections, and you can type it in, and it will come to me. And if they put in their email address, I can respond to them. But this is that's a new project that I'm working on. I'm trying to gather information about what people actually see. So that's one of those pieces.
I love that experiment, yes, feedback.
And then the next one, this is another charcoal drawing. I call this one Hawk Dancer. And this one, I think, has a really West Coast, North American feel to it. People have seen totem poles. I see a hawk sort of connected to a dancer. There's a large egg. There's fish. There's lots and lots of natural images in this one. So the next one is called The Promise.
Oh, I have this print.
Yeah,
wonderful.
you do.
It's hanging on my wall. Great.
And this one I did because I was slightly despaired about why I was an artist. And I decided, okay, what am I doing this for? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what my future is going to be. And this is what came out, and I thought it was just beautiful. It's very small, and so it gave me hope.
Oh, wonderful. I'll have to meditate on that one.
This next one is both pastels and charcoals, and I call it Drumming Dreams. So the next one is, this one I call Anastasia's Angels.
I love this one.
And this was a commission piece with a gold background, sort of medieval feel, and she commissioned some angels, so that's what I painted. The next one is a recent one. This one is called Blue Corn Offering, and it's also very large, 3 foot by 4 foot, and in it, right in the center, is the blue corn. And then the last one is called Waterfalls Edge, and I was looking over a waterfall one day, and I saw these little jumping drops jumping off. I said, that looks exactly like my art, and so that's what I did with this painting. So those are my JPEGs.
beautiful. There's so many different emotions and feelings coming through those images.
Thank you.
There's a musicality to them. They're almost like the ink blot tests, psychological ink blot tests from Rorschach. So from here, what would you like to do next with your art?
Well, I'm going to be showing in the Silicon Valley Open Studios. That's in the next few weeks during May, the first weekend, which is May 7th and 8th. There's going to be a group show at my studio. We have a very large lawn. It's up on the top of Skyline in Woodside.
Beautiful.
And so there'll be 7 artists of different varieties of artists and painters and photographers, and a jeweler is going to be there. And then on the 21st of May, we have an annual party, which I love the open studio idea. We have bands come, because I know musicians.
Oh,
My
sure.
friend Wesley is going to be there. She's a jeweler, and she did this necklace. She's going to be there with her jewelry.
She has so many beautiful creations herself, yes.
And then I'm also going to continue creating videos, definitely.
Absolutely.
And creating more art. That's the plan. More large paintings.
More fun. Yeah, it sounds great. And by the way, up there, it is quite beautiful to be in that surrounding under the redwoods. It's just gorgeous territory. So
yeah, we have a beautiful meadow that inspires my art, really does, in my studio there.
Absolutely. I've spent many joyous afternoons coming to your art parties.
Thank you.
Yes. And they're so hospitable. So thank you so much, Sally, for having me today as your host.
Well, thank you, Tamara.
And thank you for joining us with Talk Art.